small biz pro, and so we grow. Using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Coach Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And today, folks, we're going to have an amazing show. We are live today. And guess what, audience? I got my co-host back.
Yes, she had to take a very long vacation because it was intense for me, man. This year I was exhausted. I had nothing left to give. And so I had to take a break. So that's what I did. So I went, for most of you know, because most of you have actually been on most of you have been on my Facebook page, so you've seen my travels. So I was in Egypt, and then I came back for a very quick fast in a hurry, and I turned around, and then I went to Tennessee, Jackson, Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee, for most of you. And so now I'm back. So I had a fantastic time, spent time with my family, got to do some fun things. And of course, Egypt was awesome. And so that's what I've been doing. So I'm back now until next year, for at least for those long hauls.
And like I always say, folks, things I can't get to do, I live vicariously through my co-host because she's out there making things happen. So her going to Egypt and Africa and all the wonderful places, I just stay in the background and just enjoy it through her.
But I will say, Gilbert, you have to get out, man. It really is a refresher when I even have to say, and I have to pat myself on the back, because generally I will take some work and I'll do a little bit of work. I did no work. I didn't even take I think I only took my computer out of the bag to run a show, a repeater show. That was the only reason I actually took my computer and set it up at all. I was really good, and I just took time out for me and enjoyed my surroundings. And I think every now and then somebody was demanding a meeting, and I sent them a link and told them, you need to schedule when I get back, but I won't be back I will not be on the clock until the second week in September. So that's it. So I feel refreshed. I feel like I can remember names. I can remember information. I don't feel overworked and overtired. So you have to take a break, dude. You got to take a break. It's important.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I hear you.
You come back so much more refreshed than you were before you left.
I believe you. I believe you. And I really need to. But I don't know, man. I've been hearing that the COVID is coming back. People are getting COVID. So that's scaring the heck out of me.
Well, you can stay at home and get COVID.
The last time I was trying to play it safe by staying indoor, I stayed inside for 18 months, co-host.
I know.
And the moment I left and went outside, went to a Thanksgiving dinner at a friend of mine, then I got COVID. One time I got out. So,
one time,
I don't know, man.
yeah. Well, I wore my mask. I wore my mask on. I wore my mask on the plane, especially coming back. When I was going to Cairo, not too much was going on. I mean, there was a few little cases, but after that, nothing. And in Cairo, they really didn't have they didn't have anything going on there. So it was pretty much here. And when I came back in the States, I put my mask back on. And I just kind of kind of kept my distance from people, but you're on a plane. So I
Yeah.
wore my mask the whole time I was there and in the airport.
Right.
So you just have to take a chance, man. You got to take a chance.
Gotta
Just
take
cover
a chance.
up.
You live once, right?
Yeah, you only live one time, and you just got to cover it up and then going out there and do something that is you going to enjoy yourself, or at least you can do you can actually do in-town staycations and be all right.
Yep, I hear that.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you who have missed us and haven't seen us in the last 2 weeks or so, we're back, guys. We're back. If you're on YouTube Live or you're on Facebook or you're on LinkedIn, please go ahead and make sure you hit the subscribe button there at YouTube so that you can get our notifications to let you know what guest is coming up on the show, what materials we're releasing so you guys can review for your small business or any other important information. And the way to do the subscription, guys, my co-host will tell you how to do that.
So I'm gonna tell you guys to go on over to our hit this QR code right here, and it'll take you to our YouTube channel, and you can get some up-to-date information. You'll get notifications that we're going live when we're gonna go live. You'll also get a notification a couple days beforehand. And you can go to our archive playlist and you can check us out. We've been on the air for 7 years this year. So we're excited about that. And you will find an archive of over 700 videos that can give you access to anything you want to know about how to run a successful business. Between myself and my coach, my business partner over here, we have been doing this for a long time. And we've got collectively over 60 years of information for everybody.
We have 60 years of scars to prove it, guys. 60 years of scars.
So there you go. So hit that QR code or just go over to your YouTube channel and search for the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. And hit that subscribe button and you'll get notified. So we appreciate you. We'd love for you to do that. And we love for you to be part of the Business Zone family. So that is that. So what have you been doing, co-host, since I was gone?
I have been working like a dog. I've been trying to get all kinds of projects out, helping my clients down there in Texas, helping them to get their certified payrolls and their labor compliance reporting done.
Okay.
So, and we've got some other potential contract providers who are reaching out to us, want us to help them do some other work too. One at LAX and a few others out there. So we're just trying to help the community, trying to help small business, and just do our own good faith and due diligence in being a responsible steward in the community to help small business, man.
Okay, cool. Well, I want you to get some rest though. I want you to not just work. You are. I thought I was a workaholic. I think you're more so than I am. I was pretty resident on coming back.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I gotta come back to work.
Yeah.
I was enjoying my time off.
Well, I'm also doing some investments right now, so I'm hoping that it will be converted into some larger portions of funds that I can really retire the way I want to.
Okay.
And just kick back and just give professional advice. That's it. Nothing else. I just get paid to give professional advice. That's it.
Right.
Nothing else.
All right. I like that. That's important.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm glad you were putting some new things together, and you had 3 weeks just to yourself.
3 weeks. The 3 weeks seemed like it was only 1 or 2. It doesn't seem like it was that long, man. Doesn't seem like it was that long.
No, okay, yeah, it went by fast.
I know you're in Memphis last week, enjoying your sweet potato pies and all that good stuff over there, right?
Well, actually, we didn't do. We did have. I did have an opportunity. We did have a fourth Memorial, a Labor Day weekend together. But pretty much, I was eating. I don't even know if I ate anything. I think I went to one restaurant that was, I guess, Southern, and it was okay. But we just really hanging out at my cousin's house. She lives on a 29-acre lot, rural farm, and so I was just it was peaceful.
Yeah.
She So she lives in Jackson, and it's a smaller kind of a rural suburban area
Yeah.
in Tennessee, and so that's what we did. I did go to my very own first. I have never been to an HBCU game, football game.
Yeah.
So, being here in California, we don't have any
It
HBCUs.
was
I
a
think
different
it
experience,
was
huh?
a different experience. So I saw the Battle of the Bands,
Yeah.
and so that was really pretty cool. So since I
Beside
didn't,
beside the game, man, that's primarily why people go there. They want to see what the band's gonna do.
right, exactly. So my cousin's husband he's a professor at Lane College or
Yeah.
University, I guess it's an HBCU.
Yeah.
So we went to their very first game, and they were playing. Who they were playing? They were playing what? I can't remember the school, but it's in Mississippi.
Yeah.
Um, They were gold and purple. So I imagine everybody over there accused. So 'cause I saw a whole lot of gold and purple.
Purple and gold, man, never
However,
failed.
yeah, that's the cues. And so, but it was fun. They were battling back and forth, and Lane didn't win, but they at first it was a really sad game, so it was really more about the battling of the bands.
Yeah.
But they did try to come in, but they did lose. But it was fun. That was my first time.
Yeah.
I told my cousin, if they play a Howard or a Gremlin, I might fly back to Tennessee to check it out.
Yeah, when I was in Mississippi, I was introduced to my first game there, man. It's one of those different types, you know. So
Yeah.
well, it was amazing. It was amazing. It was a good experience to learn and see what the culture is about, how they go about it, and it was just great.
Yeah, because the South is definitely different from Los
Oh
Angeles.
yeah.
So football and things like that is really important to them. And but here's some interesting facts. I didn't, Jackson is got a population of about 68,000 people, and the population mix is 46% white and 45.83 or something like that. So it's really even of Black people, and they operate and function very, very well. I don't know about Memphis. I don't know about Nashville, but I know in Jackson, I met some very nice people, and they were very helpful. And so that's what I have to say about the South.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not really a Southern girl at all, but I did like the Southern hospitality, and everybody was friendly, and it was a good experience.
Right, right, right.
Hmm.
Well,
So
I'm glad you got that experience, co-host. It was necessary, because
yeah.
most of us are on the west side, and all we think about is what's on the west side. You don't think about Middle America, the South, or the east, the eastern side of
Well,
the.
because Los Angeles is a whole different kind of animal. So
Los Angeles is a whole different country.
yeah, we're totally different.
Yeah,
But it does fall into, because there were numerous Black owned businesses there as well, and white owned businesses, and
yeah,
everybody kind of lived together. And I don't know if I guess it would still I guess you would still be focusing if you're supporting Black businesses there, but you obviously have more than you don't have. And then I think economically, everybody's in the same place, at least where I was, from a financial standpoint. So you didn't have the disparities with equal sides. Let me just put it that way.
right.
Yeah. But today, guys, we are having a conversation about Black-owned businesses in the U.S. cities, and we're talking about the challenges, the solutions, and opportunities for success and prosperity, and why it's so important that we really focus on having our own businesses, but not just having. I was talking to I had Quentin Strode for the new president over at Vermont Slauson Economic
Mhm.
Development Center, and we were having a conversation about how we really, as with our businesses and those of us that are business coaches and technical assistants, how we really need to provide the tools to help our businesses grow from sole proprietorship businesses to employee-based businesses, so that we can increase the revenue that they are generating. So
Right, right,
that's kind of important, and you and I have talked about that as well,
right.
because I always tell my clients, on average, if you're running a sole proprietor, depending on the industry you're in,
Yeah,
but the average income, the average revenue that you're generating is probably between 45,000 and maybe 65,000. Would you agree to that,
that's
Gil?
true. That's true.
Right. And that's gross. So of course, net is much less. So you got to take off at least 20 to 40, 30, 20 to 45% for expenses if you have payroll. And which means that you're bringing home a tidy sum of about 20 grand.
And the thing about it is, many of our small and minority businesses don't really know what type of the proper legal structure to set up in order for them to get certain incentives, and then they can keep more money in their pockets. So, with that factor included as well, they end up choosing the wrong structure, which may be a sole proprietorship or an LLC. Some people think an LLC is so great. You pick an LLC and you end up having to pay this self-employment tax, which is huge,
Mm,
you know, and it's just unbelievable. So those are other factors that kills many of the minority and black communities in terms of what type of revenues they bring in, what type they keep for themselves.
yeah, I agree. And then most people, I've been in all of these workshops as well as you, and they're always telling them, especially if they're looking to be a certified, certify their businesses, be a certified owned business, or look for loans. They just tell you to go. You need to go get a legal structure. They don't necessarily tell you what that legal structure is supposed to be,
Right,
and you don't really have a clue why you're doing it. You just
right.
do it, unless you're a professional firm, real estate or medical or something of that nature. You kind of have an idea, but our general sole proprietors just jump right on into that LLC. Some of them go for an S corp, don't know why they're doing it, don't know what the benefits are, don't know what the tax complications or implications are. They just do it because somebody told them to do it, and so then they're starting off on the wrong foot, I
And
guess.
you know who some of their business advisors and coaches are, right? Their business advisors and coaches are like Pookie and Ray Ray down the street telling them, "Girl, you gotta go get an LLC. Get an LLC. Hide that money in the LLC," and not knowing how the LLC really works, And then they listen to Pookie and Ray Ray, and then they go register, get an LLC or a sole prop. Then next thing you know, they got the wrong structure, and it costing them a lot of money instead of going
Yeah.
to a professional, either an attorney or a CPA, or even an accountant like yourself, who can really give them advice as to. Because the thing is, when small businesses come to us and say, "What type of legal structure should I have?" the first thing we ask them is, "What is it you'd like to do? Do you want to save on not paying much taxes? What do you want to do? Do you want to make a lot of money? You want to limit your exposure to liabilities? What is it you want to do?" And then, based on the answers to those questions, we know what legal structure might be most suitable for them.
Right. And my question is always when I first start with a client is, what's your 5-year goals? What how do you envision, what do you envision the long-term goals for your business, and what are the short-term goals for your business? So it gives me an idea what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Some folks are really in the gig business and the hustle business and not in the business. So uh
They're not in the business business.
not in the business.
Oh, I love it.
The hustle business is a whole nother ball game. So if you in the business, then it looks different.
So, guys, you hear that? If you want to be in the business, you need to come talk to my co-host so she can get you straightened out. Don't be getting in those side businesses and those hustle businesses, not knowing where you're going.
And it's okay to be in that. You just have to be honest that's what you're doing. I'm not knocking the side hustle. The side hustle can keep you afloat, man. I'm not knocking it. But there's a difference. I was talking to a young lady yesterday. I was teaching a class for the new women. I teach a class for the New Women's Business Association every week, every month. I teach a series that we do, the 12 steps to launching a business. And so I had a young lady, 2 young ladies actually, that were on, and they were all in the entertainment business. And so, and they're all being affected by the strike. So she was saying, and so I think it's time to start another business. And yeah, if you're in the entertainment business, you're in the movie business in Hollywood, you got to have a side hustle. You cannot be dependent on just the industry, because every 5 to 10 years, they do this. They go through a long strike.
And I think it's done strategically because that's how reality TV started, right?
Right,
When they strike the last time. So they're probably trying to do this to get free or cheap labor and get all these reality shows going in the queue instead of paying the actors what they're worth.
Exactly. And then, that's a big money maker in that industry. So somebody making the money. So I told her, I said, well, I think that's a good idea. And I think once you sign your new contract, whenever it comes out, you need to keep your side hustle going on. Because I remember reading long time ago that George Clooney, he said that he always had another business on the side. Because he went, and so what he did was, with his first big checks that he got, he paid cash for his house.
Mm-hmm.
He set up an equity escrow account to make sure his property taxes could be paid. And he also invested in businesses so he could get royalties. So he always had money. So he's invested and has a stake in the tequila. I think it's what's the tequila? The Jose, whatever it is. I don't drink tequila, but it's the high end tequila. And so he staked into a tequila company out of Mexico, and he's actually staked in.
Isn't he a part of that espresso company also? The coffee company?
Yep. So I always remembered him saying that. And so I think that's what people in Hollywood should do. When you get that first big check, just pay cash for your house. It might be a little bitty tiny bungalow, but it's yours. Pay cash for it so you don't get kicked out in the street.
Well, like I always say, man, there are 2 types of people in this world. You got your 9-to-5ers and you got your entrepreneurs. You got your 9-to-5ers and your entrepreneurs.
Right.
Which one are you? Because some people, they don't want to do their own business. They just want to keep working for somebody and do that 9-to-5. Then they complain.
And you have to look at the fact that maybe you do need to invest in other businesses. I remember I just read yesterday or 2 days ago that Kevin Hart, somebody had, in the early days of Uber, they had come to Kevin Hart for an investment to get started. and he passed it up. They were looking for $50,000. He passed it up. And
Yeah. I think a lot of people regretted the Uber thing and other things that started back then. Now they're looking at the balance sheet. They're going, man, this thing is making money. So I also believe in what you're saying, that they should invest in all the companies, because investing in all the companies is providing you residual income. That's not a company that you need to run yourself. It's already being ran by other people. So all you got to do is just make sure that when you put your investment in there, then you're getting some kind of residual, and it's passive income. It's passive residual that you're getting, and it's just stacking up, going into your bank, and that's how you want to look at that. I think everyone who's going into entrepreneurship should really think about investing, and the kind of businesses that you want to invest in are the ones that are out there. They're winners. They're bigger than your company. They're making hundreds of millions of dollars every year. Those are the ones you should be investing in.
I completely agree. I think that and look what just an infusion. I mean, let's say you come into a big contract and you got about $10,000-$15,000 that you can invest. You do your due diligence.
Yeah,
Definitely do your due diligence.
always.
You enlist an attorney and your CPA in this thought process, but at the same time, you go and you look at investing. And if here in Black America and Black businesses, they could definitely use not just your money, but if you've been in business for a while and you have the expertise of growing and scaling a business, they could use you as a mentor. And
Yeah.
I think if we start looking at our businesses that way, we can help each other grow to that next level. And so instead of complaining about the customer service or the lack of resources, help them out.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And make sure that you're involved in the help out. Make sure that you're involved in the in helping them grow and providing them with the resources they need, so that it doesn't, if you invested, you part of the company now. Right. So that's what I think. So
that is true. That's why today, folks, we want to talk about Black businesses, Black-owned businesses in the United States, in different cities. We want to talk about the challenges, the solutions, the opportunities for prosperity, and how we can go about utilizing those credits to build our communities and build our families. That's really
right.
what we're looking at. We've talked over the years on this program about many of us minority businesses operating in silos. A silo, if you remember what the silo is, when you go on a farm, you see that big old concrete canister that they put corn in for the cattle.
Mm-hmm.
Then you may drive another 5 miles, you see another farm with another silo.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it is. It's spread out. Same thing with small businesses. You got one small business here trying to function a certain way, another one over there a few miles away trying to function, trying to operate a certain way, and it's the same thing. So with us being small businesses, we don't want to operate in silos. We want to come together. We want to network with each other. We want to leverage the resources from other businesses and work together to make this happen. So just think about that, guys. Think about whether or not you're doing it now, or this will really help to grow your business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because we do need, when I first became the co-director of Recycling Black Dollars, the first thing when they found out that I was, and it's like, and I even asked this question, it's like, why are we not supporting our businesses, right? What is preventing us from doing that? So I started asking the question. And so what I was getting was, the customer service is not there, that this is not there, that this is not there. And so then I had to say, but if I went to a business that was not a Black owned business, would I, and I've received poor service in many other types of businesses, but do I stop going, or do I let them know that I'm unhappy and that the service wasn't up to par to give them an opportunity to fix it?
Yeah.
Or do I just walk away and say, hey, I'm never going to come here? Well, in most cases, we give other businesses an opportunity to fix it.
Right.
Right.
So why can't we do the same for our comrades?
Right. Yeah. So why are we so bent on just throwing a Black owned business, hi Linda, a Black owned business to the side without supporting the business and finding out what is the problem? And then of course, if we can give them that information, then they can fix it, and then we can feel comfortable with referring friends and family over so that we can help them to grow. Linda says some of the challenges she has found is proper setup of bookkeeping taxes from the start. 100% true, Linda.
Yes.
100%. So what we're going to do, Gilbert, before we go into our topic and lay out some stats and some information that we found, let's share our commercial. Let's have a little quick commercial break with Small Biz Pro, your product, and then you can give them more input once we do this. So let me do this part. Let me get it set up. And
just remember, guys, running a business is complex within itself. You always need resources, and you always need certain tools to help guide you along to make your life easier. So that's what we're trying to present to you with this app platforms. Go ahead.
Okay, so let's see if it's gonna run. My internet is acting crazy. I've been having challenges since I got back.
Do you have a tool that organizes your company's paper? Do you have?
Got it? You can hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. Rock and roll.
Have a tool that organizes your company's paperwork and takes care of all your record keeping? Does your current record-keeping system send you 90-day alerts to remind you that your key documents are about to expire and need to be renewed? Can you find contracts and procurement opportunities in seconds from any of the 50 United States so you can grow your business? Is your business organized so that you can tell which key documents are needed to efficiently run the business? How about woman-owned, small business, or disadvantaged business enterprise certifications? Do you have a checklist of all the key documents you need to become certified? Does your current system allow you to conduct market research from multiple sources and provide you industry and market data in seconds? Well, Small Biz Pro does all of that and more. Small Biz Pro is the #1 business management, compliance, procurement assistance, and market research assistance tool on the market today. Download the app now and you will be amazed. It's like having 3 additional employees working for you, but you don't have to pay them. What are you waiting for?
All righty. So Gilbert, you want to give them a little info on Small Biz Pro and why it's part of this conversation, why it's essential that they have this tool and how it can help their business.
That's right, guys. Having a tool like this is like having 3 additional employees working in your business, which you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay them. We're working for free. So having a tool like this, you can get access to contracts on a daily basis, get access to grants, thousands of grants, thousands of contracts. You also get your back office taken care of. So that means your paperwork are in order. You upload it, you store it, you access it as needed. The system also tells you what documents you need to run your business. What documents you need to run your business, depending on the legal structure. But we can do that too. So that's what this platform is all about. The platform will help you to develop a capability statement. The platform will also help you to conduct an assessment on your business to see if your business is ready to do business with others or not. So that's kind of what this is. And it's right there. It's right in front of your face. The assessment tool portion of it, free. Very free. Very free.
$3.99.
$3.99.
All righty.
So you want to check it out, guys.
So Linda Sam says she's a small biz advocate, and she wants to know, Gilbert, when are the updates coming?
Updates are coming soon. I'm talking to some programmers right now. And just so you know, one of the updates will be for those of you who have corporations, C Corp and S Corp, and you got to do your meeting minutes. Small Biz Pro is going to start helping you to do your meeting minutes. You'll be able to log in, and Small Biz Pro, you tell it what you need, what you need to put in the meeting minutes, and it will generate it for you. Bada boom, bada bang. You don't have to worry about anything.
Bada boom, bada bang. All right, then. So there you guys. Gilbert would put the link in the chat, and you guys can actually go on and sign up today. So this is the first channel. When we talk about challenges, this could be the solution to one of those challenges, is being able to access the information. Why doesn't someone follow up with the assessment? That's a question from Linda.
Oh, okay. So the way the assessment is set up, Linda, is so when you take the assessment, you get a copy of that assessment. Now, if you're going through an agency that is a partner with Buchanan and Associate, that agency will receive a copy as well. So when you're doing the assessment, it asks you, who is your referral partner? So if your referral partner is Vermont Slauson or the Los Angeles Urban League or some other entity, you just go in the drop down and you select who that referral partner is, and they will receive a copy of your assessment. Then they will follow up with you and said, okay, this is what you need to do in terms of sitting down with them, or GLAC. All right. Yeah, GLAC too. Now, if no one from those agencies follow up with you, you can call the toll-free number on the assessment, which will be directed to me, and I can go over that assessment with you, and I can help you to better understand the assessment. So on the assessment are yes and no answers. So the goal is to convert the no answers into yeses. At the end of the day, you want to have 100% of your answers being yes, so you can get, that special treatment you need. So, but that's how it's structured right now, guys. That's how it's structured. So call me. If no one get a hold of you, you call me. And then
all righty. And I actually do consulting for both GLAC, with GLAC with the BEP program. I do consulting with Vermont Slauson Economic Development Company, and I also coach and a technical assistant for the Los Angeles Urban League. So if you have taken the assessment and you have not heard from anyone and from any of those three agencies for that we've named, then you can reach out to me as well, and I can make sure you get access into the systems so that you can then get on track. Because the benefit of working with those organizations, you usually get the technical assistance free of charge.
Yeah.
And we all are contracted with those agencies, so you don't have to pay us directly. We get paid by those agencies. So if that's the case, then please make sure you reach out to either myself or Gilbert for assistance. All righty, so let's get started with our topic today and our discussion today. And if anyone watching, you can also, you can put something in the chat and we can actually see it and we can respond to it. So I know there are like 9 or 10 people watching on the Business Zone's Facebook page. So please feel free to reach out to us and we will speak to you directly via chat. So now here's the thing. When Gilbert, we were talking about what we should discuss today, he sent me over a document, and I'm going to actually put it in the chat so you guys can have accessibility to it as well, because it's got some very valuable information in it. And so here's the thing that really stuck out to me, Gilbert, when you sent this to me. I think the very first paragraph went, wow. So they do know. So at the January 17th event marking Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said, from Reconstruction to Jim Crow to the present day, our economy has never worked fairly for Black Americans, or really any Americans of color. Yellen's remarks were an acknowledgment that the U.S. policymakers have established racially tiled rules for the economy, preventing intergenerational wealth transfer among Black Americans and among many others harmed. So that told me one thing. They are very much aware of what the heck is happening in this country when it comes to us, Black Americans.
They know what's going on. They know exactly what's going on. There's 14.2% of us that make up the economy, 14.2% of Blacks that make up the U.S. economy. And that averages out to about 40, 41, 42,000 Blacks.
Million.
So with that, yeah.
Million, so, right? Because
what did I say? 1,000?
1,000, yeah. It's more than nothing. 1,000.
I'm sorry. I am so sorry. See, guys. You see now why I need my co-host.
Like there's more than 41,000 of us.
For me. I was looking at some other numbers and I was looking at thousands, so that's why I said I am so sorry. It's 41 to 42 million of us, folks. 41 to 42 million, which is equivalent to about 14.2% of the U.S. population.
Exactly.
Now, I want folks to think about this and think about these numbers that we're spitting out today, because these numbers are legit, right? Now, according to the Federal Reserve in 2019, the median net worth of white families was about 188,200. 188,000, just a little under 200,000 for the white family. Guess what the Black family's amount was?
24,000.
24,100. You can't live on 24,000 in this time. 24,000. That's for a family. That's not for one person or one student. That's for one person, guys. So you see the disparity right there. So that gap needs to be recognized and fixed. So I was just talking to my co-host. There are two types of people in this world. You got your 9-to-5ers, people who go to work 9 to 5, and you got your entrepreneurs, people who are entrepreneurs, start their business, trying to make millions, right? You cannot be a 9-to-5er making 24,000 a year and expect to raise a family, have a house, and live in a decent neighborhood. There's no. I think the statistic they're talking about is for someone who lives in a downtrodden neighborhood, man. There's no way a Black family can live.
I know. Let me put it this way. There is no way you're doing that in Los Angeles. I don't know about anywhere else. But in Los Angeles, you're not doing that. In the state of California, you're not living like that.
Maybe in Mississippi. Maybe. Because Mississippi is one of the poorest countries. Poorest states out there. One of the poorest states. So maybe. But then I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. It was so they were saying in 2019. So of course 2019 was the year before the pandemic. Yeah. And so there were a total of 5.7 million employer owned or employer firms, businesses with one or more employees. That means not just you and your wife. That means you and somebody that you were paying, or your husband, someone you were paying a salary to. You were set up with payroll.
Yeah.
and you're paying payroll taxes. And so out of that 5.7 million, only 2.3% of those were actually Black owned. And
Oh
that's
man.
what I was referring to as to how much money, how much a profit and how much revenue Black businesses own. So of that, the 2.3 represented about 134,567 that were Black owned that had actual employees. All the other businesses were actually single membered businesses. And
Yeah.
so pretty much you had expenses. The only real benefit you get from that is that one, you have expenses to write off, so you're paying less in taxes than you
Yeah.
would if you were an employee.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the benefit of that. But far as being able to grow and scale the business, that's a little bit more challenging.
And I want to put this out there, folks. I know a lot of small businesses. You've been in business for a while. And again, like I say, your consultants are Pookie and Ray Ray on the corner. So they probably tell you that, oh, you can write that off, man. Yeah, write it off on your taxes. Write it off. And you're listening to Pookie and Ray Ray thinking that they're certified CPAs or certified tax accountants, and you don't even know what you can write off and what you can't write off, thinking you can write it off. A lot of you guys can go to prison. You hear me? You can go to prison. So don't listen to Pookie and Ray Ray. You want to listen to a certified person, just like my co-host Crystal, or you go get a CPA or an attorney, a business attorney, to guide you in that area. Okay. Now, some of you may write off expenses. You may take a loss in your business for 3 years. That's pretty much what the IRS allows. Writing off a lot, taking a loss on your business for 3 years. Now, if you're in business for 10 years and you're taking a loss every year, believe me, that's a red flag, and immediately the IRS is thinking about you. That's one entity you don't ever want to think about you. You don't want those guys thinking about you, because when they're thinking about you, they have bad intentions. Okay.
Yeah, when you on the menu and you're not at the table, that's what
That's
I call
right.
that. So let's talk about the challenges that Black businesses have and
Yeah.
solutions to those, and actually opportunities. So here's some things. First of all, when we talked about the 2.3% that were actually employer firms, and then that means the next makeup is about 12% are almost 13% are actual sole proprietorship. So that means your resources are limited and your revenue is limited, because it's very difficult to wear all the hats in your business and generate revenue.
Yeah.
Right. So you would have, that means you're the janitor, you're the salesperson, you're the marketing person, you're the CEO, you the everybody. So
Yeah.
it's very hard to run a business. Now, how I addressed that, Gilbert, was I actually have partners in my practices, in the businesses that I operate in.
Yeah.
And so, like with the business owners, you and I, so now we have the resources of each other in
Yeah.
order to help the business, and we provide resources and opportunities for each other. So
Yeah.
it's a challenge to be able to do that by yourself, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's one of the challenges. And as Linda said earlier, the other challenge is being set up properly,
Yeah.
right?
And she also said that this is a crucial missing link to small businesses. You know what we're talking about today and the data we're providing.
Right. So you have and then you have limited resources when it comes to capital.
Yeah.
Because you don't really ever get to a place where you're creating some major traction, right? Because your
Yes.
numbers are so low that you could be in business for 5 years and still be generating the same amount of revenue on an annual basis that you did when you first started your business.
Yes.
I think some other challenges are marketing and outreach and branding. So I don't
Marketing
know
and
what you feel.
outreach.
Yeah. Marketing.
And having someone in your company who can provide that service for you, or connect you with those services. So either the person is in your company or they're outside of your company as a resource that you can access.
Right. So those are some of that's so we have marketing, we have proper setup, whether proper legal structure for
Yeah.
your business. We have branding, being able to get the word out that you are in business, which is very important. I always tell my clients that marketing, branding directly correlates to your profit potentials
And setting up your
and
back
sales.
office the right way, that means you know what documents you need to run your business properly. That's another challenge for many small businesses, because they don't really know which document. And another one is tied right into that, co-host, is the
But
paperwork. Having your proper paperwork,
yes,
you know?
yes. Another big problem that I say that is an issue is businesses that work in their business but not on their business.
Yeah.
That's a big challenge for them because you are so busy working that you can't come out of the business and go to GLAC and the Urban
Vermont
League and so forth, the
Slauson.
Vermont Slauson, in order to find out what's going on. You just in every day working 12, 18 hours just trying to make your business work, and not being able to, not even recognizing that there are there's solutions out there for you.
Yeah.
Right. Also, and I said earlier, capital, very difficult. Now, the pandemic hurt and helped us,
Yeah.
because with the pandemic came a abundance of grants
Yeah.
that were able to give a number of people the next leg up, right? So you had the PPP CARES money. If you were set up properly, if you had filed taxes, if it was some ifs and some things that you had to be and to comply with in order to be able to acquire that funding. And that was some of them, is making sure that you had filed your taxes in the last 3 years, that you had your legal structure, you were either some sort of LLC, something, you had an EIN number.
Yeah.
That was like the first step, right? The first step. And so that helped you out. Now, for me, when I was coaching during that time frame, I was very focused on, if you acquired a grant for $5,000, then I said to go and use that money for hiring a coach, or hiring a social media manager,
Or a
or
bookkeeper.
a bookkeeper, or to use that money to apply for some classes or something that could help you, give you more resources or skill sets that you needed to be able to grow your business. That was my recommendation. Not just to spend it on, or look at developing another product line that had a better opportunity for generating more revenue. Those were my suggestions. So solutions were grants that came in from the PPP,
I,
from the
Before we touch
pandemic.
on solutions, co-host, I still think there are other big challenges in here that we can talk about. So
Okay.
another big challenge is, we know that many small businesses don't like to do paperwork, so they ignore the paperwork. And then when it comes time to get certified, get a contract, to get a grant, then they're having challenges. So that's a big one on the paperwork. The next one is contracts. To go after government contracts and get certified, that's another challenge, because not being certified, it prevents you from accessing certain types of contracts. And then going after government contracts, many small businesses don't really know what it takes, what is required. And that's why folks like you and I can really coach them in these classes as to how to become contract ready, how to be prepared, what to look for, what documents you need to have. So then when you go to the bidding process, it's a little easier for you. What we also provide is, after we prepare you to become ready and you go and you get the contract, we can help you to maintain and manage those contracts so you know what type of reportings to do, what you got to report every month, what type of documentation will help you to generate those reports and all of that. So you're getting support from us. Those are challenges that you currently have that we can solve in the solution phase for you.
Okay. And let's go while we're still on the challenges. There was an article that was in Forbes in 2022, and it said that women and minority owned businesses revealed similar financial challenges and that Black businesses actually encountered, and most of them face issues on accessing capital, which we do know is a big challenge, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we've been all focusing, all our organizations in Los Angeles, and I think across the country, have been focusing on how do we alleviate some of that. So, and I know John Hope Bryan from Operation Hope was he's been, if you guys are on LinkedIn, really check him out, because he just connected with and I'll get the right information, but he just have some ground leveling partnerships that's going to help a lot of them. The Los Angeles Urban League just partnered up with Intuit, which is the parent company of QuickBooks. So they got some major stuff going on. Vermont Slauson, which is a CDFI, which is a community development what is it, investment firm or financial industry
Financial institution. Yeah.
institution,
Yeah.
and they are going after some major resources to be able to help level the playing field when it comes to financing. But this survey indicated that 39% they felt very inadequate about applying for capital. One is for the things that you talked about, Gilbert, not having the proper paperwork,
Yeah.
not
knowing the process or the steps.
right, exactly, and not so not being able to be what we call loan prepared, loan readiness,
Loan ready.
right?
Yeah.
Loan ready. And then another 38% indicated that they did not have a relationship with a lender. This is huge. People are banking at banks that they don't know them from anybody else in the bank. They are putting thousands and thousands of dollars in a bank, and they have never sat down with their bank managers to have a conversation on, here's my business, I'm banking with you. Your banker is part of your partnerships, right? You need your lawyer, you need your CPA, and your bank is another partner in the equation of your team, right?
Yeah.
Because if they don't know you exist and you have financial needs, then when you go in there, you're just like any other Joe Blow you're a depositor. You're not a partner. They're not part of the team. You're just a depositor, and you're an anonymous depositor unless you're putting in hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if you have no relationship with your bank and you're putting in hundreds of thousands of dollars, you need to really come back and reevaluate that.
Right.
Because if you go to that bank and you can't apply for a loan and you have hundreds of thousands of dollars with that bank, that's not the bank for you.
And also, just being knowledgeable about what banks are looking for, what you need to have as a small business to be prepared is very vital that you can overcome. It's a challenge, a vital challenge that you can overcome. In our platform, Small Biz Pro, we have what we call an analysis that we can do to show what we show 7 different types of ratios. The banks look at least 4 or 5 of those ratios. One of them is debt to equity ratio. One of them is a quick ratio. One of them is a capital ratio. And the other one is, I can't remember. But there's several ratios that they look at. And if you are able to use the platform to get your ratios up, all you have to do is plug your data in. That's it. Plug your data in. The system calculates your ratio for you. You don't have to do any ratios. We don't expect it to be accountants or CPAs. Just plug the information in and tell you what ratio, which will make you have a better chance of getting that line of credit or getting that loan. So what we're saying here on this show, guys, we're not just talking just to occupy some time. We're telling you stuff that can really help you to be in a better position, that you can gain access, because every business needs a line of credit. Every business, I don't care what business you're in. Every business needs a line of credit. And co-host, just before this show, I was talking to a friend of mine. She used to work with Union Bank, and she was the one who helped me to get my first line of credit, for my business. And I'm so grateful to her for that. Hopefully someday we can bring her on this show as a guest. But she really helps me to understand that landscape, how to get in there. And then on top of all the other things I do, I was able to understand that those ratios are crucial. That when you first walk into that bank, when you first walk in, they're sizing you up. They're looking you up and down. They go, okay, this person doesn't look like they keep good records. They don't look like they keep paperwork. All right, let's see what they're going to say. Let's ask them a question and see how they answer it. And based on how they answer that question, we'll know if they do good bookkeeping. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's what they do. Then the first thing they do is ask you, what's your quick ratio? And you go, quick ratio? I don't really know what that is.
What is that? That's the first thing. What is that?
And then that's how they know. They've just put you in that category. This person doesn't know anything about their bookkeeping. We're not giving them a line of credit.
Right, because you got to be good stewards of your money. So that's very important that you really, those are the first thing is to be business ready, and that's making sure everything is compliant. You're in compliance. All of your your paperwork's in place. You have an EIN number. You really shouldn't be using your social security number. You have, if you're in a city that requires business licenses, you have your licenses, and these are just the basics, right?
Basics.
The basics. You've protected the name of your business, so you've gone through the process of registering your business. If you're a retailer, you make sure you're set up with the Board of Equalization, or the tax and revenue, the Department of the State of California. You make sure that's in place. If you're a nonprofit, you have all of your ducks in a row, your minutes, all your stuff. You're paying you're doing your 990s. You're doing all of those things that you need to do so that when it comes time to sit down with a banker. But here's the most important part. Even before you get to the loan process, having a relationship with your bank is so important. When I was in Cairo, I have my accounts are at a black bank, City First Bank, which is in Inglewood, and excuse me, they're formerly Broadway Federal. So we are recycling black dollars. My own personal accounts and the community briefings accounts are all at City First Bank, right? Yeah. So when I flew out in August, I was on a plane on the 19th and the 20th because it took 19 hours to get to where I was going. Yeah. And when I got to Egypt, I got a notification that something had been denied in my bank account. Well, I knew I had money there, so I went on. I had accessibility. So definitely online banking is important because you are not always in your office or you're not always in your home state. You need to be able to have access to all of your information. So I saw these transactions coming through and they were happening in Washington, D.C. and I'm in Cairo.
Washington, D.C.?
Washington, D.C.
Holy moly.
And I'm like, what the heck? And they were coming in from my debit card.
Wow.
And so I called my bank because it's 9 hours ahead. So when I called, it was in the middle of it was at nighttime for me in Cairo, but daytime. I know my bank representatives by name. So I spoke to one of my bank people and I said, hey, my card is being used in Washington. I'm obviously not in Washington, and I let my bank know that I was going to be out of town, out of the country. so that they could, if I was using my debit card, they would know this, right? So here, all these charges are being racked up in DC, and so I called and I was like, oh my God, so what do we do? He said, well, we need to stop your card. It's like, oh my God, I'm gonna be in another country with no card, with no access to money. Wait. So I had enough cash on me, so it's very important to do that. So I had already done that, but they allowed me. They said, well, get to a teller and we will tell me where you are, what bank it is, and we'll give you access to money so you'll have enough to cover you until you get back home, and then we're going to shut everything down. So that's exactly what happened. And then only reason I flew back to LA was because I had to go to the bank to process a claim. And then before I flew back out to go to Tennessee, all of that was taken care of in days, Gilbert.
That's amazing. That's because you had a good relationship with your banker.
I had a good relationship. They knew where I was. There was no discrepancy that possibly it was me, because I had already told them I was leaving. And so they got it cleared up, put the money 1 day after I actually went through and put the paperwork in place. Before I got to Tennessee, they had already put the money back, and they were already taking care of it.
I'm sure they know you by first name, so
they know me by first name. Everybody in the bank knows me.
You didn't even have to walk into that bank. You picked up that phone and say, "Hey, Isabel, this is Crystal. Here's what's going on." You see what I'm saying?
Right. And Ms. Mitchell, we got this taken care of. We will protect you. No, sometimes you go to a bank, they don't know you. They're like, okay, it's going to take 10 to 15 days to get your money back, right?
And sir, you got to provide your ID. I hate that. I hate that, man.
From the guard at the front door to every manager, in fact, old managers, when they get ready to be they're promoted, they introduce me to the new managers so that they know who I am. So that makes me feel like I'm a valuable, not just a depositor, I'm a valuable client. So that's why it's important not to just drop your money in a bank and never have conversation with anyone. You need to have conversation so that they know who you are. So that's on that level.
I want to add another piece to what you're saying there, co-host, because I use my debit card also, and I use it for groceries. When I purchase groceries at the supermarket, that's it. Or if I go to a small place where the bill is like $14, $15, I use a debit card. But I don't use the debit card as a debit card. I use it as a credit card. Because so when you slide that chip into the machine and it says to put your code in, I bypass that code. I override the code, and instead I treat it like a credit card. So that means they can't just take money out, because your debit card is like
it's open to your account.
Yeah, it's like a checking account. They once they take money out, they got real cash. So if you use it like a credit card, then now they're going to have to go through those credit card protocols in order to scam you or try to get your money out of your account.
Right.
So I recommend that people use their debit card like a credit card. Plus there are other reasons why you don't use your debit card too, because you don't get, they give you those 3% cash back and 5% cash back. You don't get that on debit cards. But if you use it as a credit card, you get those cash back. So that's good.
Good advice, Gilbert. And when I have a business PayPal account.
Yeah.
And I use my business PayPal account for online banking, because PayPal has some really high level security as well on their account. So I bypass using my debit card or credit card. I use PayPal, because if you dispute something, PayPal, they refund, they take you in priority first. And refund you.
You are their client.
You are their client, and then they go and dispute whether or not it's true or false, right? So So that's how I provide, so making sure. So these are important things, guys, because, just imagine somebody having access and cleaning out your bank account, and you got payroll next day,
Yeah.
right? And I've had a lot of clients that has happened to them, especially if you're an older client. I don't care whether you're a businessman or not. It appears that after you turn 55 or 50, the scammers kind of know that you're 50 and that you're not tech savvy. Right?
I want to add this to co-host. I want to add this too. I've been saying this in all my workshops over the years, and some people listen, some people don't. But I'm going to say it again because it doesn't hurt to say it again. Maybe I'll get one or two people extra listening to this. Co-host just said, Crystal just said that you may have your account and someone cleans you out. There's no way that someone should be able to clean you out and get all of your money. No way, guys. No way. Okay? And here's why. When you're in business, you want to have 3 accounts. You want to have an operating account. That means that's the account you use to pay your bills and pay your employees. All right? That's your operating account. Then you have an income account. That means when you generate your revenue, when you generate your invoices, you send it out, the money comes in, it goes into that income account. And then the third account is an investment account. So you use that investment account to invest in things that can generate money, passive income, or active income for your business. Okay, now that's 3 accounts. Now here's the deal. In your operating account, let's say your operating expenses, which it includes overhead, it includes paying your workers, and it also includes other expenses, right? Let's say all your accounts is $100,000. There's no way you should have $200,000 in that account. No way. If your overhead expense is $100,000, you want to have like maybe $105,000 in that account. Maybe. You see what I'm saying? So if they clean out that account, then they only get $105,000, not your whole $200,000. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to tell folks over the years, and they're not listening, man. You gotta have a strategy, because the criminals and scammers out there, they're higher level than us. They know what they're doing. They know how to do things and get money out of people's account. So therefore, you're not going to open yourself up so someone can clean you out. The same thing with your income account. If you're sending out invoices and you're getting $200,000 worth of invoices coming in, then you take that money out, you put just enough in your operating account that can cover that, and then you put some in your investment account, and the other, you stash that in a saving account where they can't touch. You're not going in there regularly. So those are some of the things that, I'd like to share with you guys. And I did this from experience. And if any of you use my Small Biz Pro platform, you will see that when you go to the cash flow management piece, there is a section for you to have 3 different accounts: your income account, your operating account, and your investment account. I just wanted to put that out there, Cole.
I think that's very, very important, because in my accounting world, that's what I tell my clients as well. Operating account, your payroll account should be separate and standalone from your operating account, because that should be just a pass through. Put the money in for the amount of payroll that you're going to process and taxes and any of the benefits or whatever. Then when you clear it out, it zeroes out. That's the way it should be. And then you go back for the next payroll period, you do the same thing. Then of course an investment account is great, because now literally taking your profit that's left over and from your where your revenues are coming in, your income is coming in, and then putting that in an investment account. And here's another caveat to Gilbert, because when we're in business for ourselves, most folks don't understand that at some point there's got to be retirement.
Oh yeah. Oh
And so,
yeah.
so
Oh yeah.
there's got to be an exit strategy. So that investment account is to make sure that you're not working for the rest of your life until
Yeah.
the day you stop taking a breath. You actually have, you take that investment, you invest it in a retirement plan, you have your IRAs, you have your, you might have a stock portfolio, but you have to prepare for the future, just as if you were an employee. Your pension, creating your own pension plan. So that is very important. Good advice, Gilbert. Another
Co-host,
good advice.
co-host, do you want to touch on the Social Security piece also? Because we talked about this before, but I don't think folks are listening. So we want to just remind them again that, you know, if they're in business and working, they should have a 40 pay period
Weeks.
that they take money out and put into the Social Security fund.
Right. So that's your 10 weeks, your 10 weeks, which is about 40. What is it? Is it 10 weeks? 40 weeks, isn't
At
it?
40.
It's got to be 10 years. It has
10
to be
years
10
at 40.
years of an investments for your
Yeah.
Social Security. So when you turn 65, or now 67, I think the age has increased, 67, you actually can retire.
Yeah.
You can actually acquire or get, if you're at your 65, or if you're now and you made the 65 before they changed the retirement age to 67, then you'll be at full retirement, and you actually could apply for your Social Security and
Yeah.
your Medicare, because you've actually paid into that system.
Yeah. You can expect to get some kind of benefit.
Benefit for it, and it'll be calculated on the number of years. So and I know it's hard sometimes, especially when you first start out, but that's what that self-employment tax is for.
Yeah.
Is every year. So everybody thinks they're giving that $800 to the state and the federal. You're not. It is actually for you, where you're paying into the system, because if you were working for someone, that would be your FICA and your FUTA would be taken out from your check automatically, and that's going into the system. But those of you that are just, for young people that are starting out as entrepreneurs, and you have not worked in a corporation where they actually deducted salary from deducted your payroll taxes, I highly recommend you set yourself on payroll so that you can start paying in the system. Because coming when you're 65, it's going to matter greatly that you are able to have accessibility. It's like a savings account. So even though they keep threatening to take it away from you, remember that is money that actually came out of your check.
Yeah.
And it was actually deposited into this fund. So unless they stop taking, here's how I see it, unless they stop taking payroll taxes, I don't know how they're going to take the money and Social Security going to be gone. Because everybody seems to think Social Security going to be gone. Well, the only way Social Security can be gone is they stop taking Social Security out of your check.
Yeah.
So
I just wanted us to touch on that a little bit, because a lot of entrepreneurs, they don't think about that part.
Yeah. No, they don't think about that, but that's what happens. So either you put your 15, 20 years in working for somebody, so you know you can be guaranteed that is there if you're not making no money, or you make sure you're paying your Social Security, your self-employment tax, so that you will have it there. So yeah, that's important, Gilbert. So let's talk about this, Gilbert, because we got a little bit time left over. So Black businesses are important to the makeup of this country, because we do represent the 14% in this country. So having Black businesses is a benefit to this country. They may let you think that it's not, but it is. It's a benefit. So I just want to share a little bit. Let me just do this real quick, because for whatever reason did this. I want to share, and hopefully everyone can see this chart. Let me see. Here's the chart. So I just want to, from a standpoint across the country, and let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. And oops. Let's go right back here. Let me actually do this so I can make it bigger. Can I make it bigger? Somewhere in here, I can make it a little bit bigger. No, I can't make it bigger. Here, let me see. Oh, there we go.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
That I got it. I can actually. All right. So here's in metropolitan areas. Here are and this is results as of uh 2019. So of course some things did change after 2020 after the pandemic, but in 2019 the highest representation of Black employers were Oxnard, California. They in Ventura County, they had 294 businesses, which was about 1% or 2% of that particular county, and 2.8% were Black population. That's what their population is. St. Louis had about 3,000 Black owned businesses. Fayette, North Carolina had 5. The highest it appears to be Los Angeles, Long Beach, Anaheim, which has 7,200 businesses. Washington D.C. area or the tri area is almost 9,000 businesses, and then following up behind that is Columbia, Ohio, and San Francisco at 200, and then Rochester, New York. So those are just some representation. Now look at the highest number of Black employer businesses in 2019. So in the New York, tri-state, Newark and New Jersey, there are 14,000 businesses that are there that actually were employer business with employees. Washington, 8,000. Atlanta, which I'm surprised. I would have thought that that number was greater in Los Angeles and in Atlanta, because Atlanta has a really different makeup than most states, I think, in the union, especially Atlanta, because it's predominantly Black population.
Yeah.
Los Angeles, again, is 7,200. The Florida area, 6,200. Chicago, 42. And I'm actually surprised by Chicago as well. Houston, about 3,900. Dallas, 31. St. Louis, 31. And Pennsylvania, 3,000. So that's where the biggest representation it is for us. So there are 3.12 million Black-owned businesses in the United States, generating about $200 billion in annual revenue and supporting about almost 4 million jobs in the U.S. And it shows how so we are represented, right? Not like white folks, but because if you look at the representation, whites obviously 75% of the population, and they have about 83% of the business employer businesses and 77% of the non-employer, whereas Blacks, you see the numbers are despairingly low. We do have high non-employer, and Asians is third place. Well, not really. Hispanic is third place, but again, Hispanics are only 6% of the employer businesses and 14%, 15% rounded up to non-employee, and then others are pretty low. So I say the solutions, when we come back to that solution proposition, is we need to increase these numbers.
Yes.
We must increase the employer businesses.
Yes.
We got to get those numbers up to be. It actually would be better if we're 10% employer, because you're generating more revenue than if we were non-employer based businesses.
Right.
Right. And so we really need to work on that, because those are the things that really truly affect us. So now the percentage of businesses that face financial challenges after the pandemic or during the pandemic, it goes to show that we, and really 92%, and that is very true. There were over 400,000 businesses lost during the pandemic, and a great deal of them. But I think we were kind of neck to neck because, obviously the pandemic shut everything down. But I will tell you this, I think as a solution to some of these issues, Gilbert, would be that we look at doing business, and you and I talk about this a lot. We look at doing business, broader than our backyard.
Right.
So, meaning let's do business nationally. That means that you need to have accessibility to an online network so
Yeah.
that you can expand your business to other states beyond the states that you live in. And then your goal from there would be to expand your businesses in other countries.
All right.
I think other solutions is we need to dial back and look at our business model and
Yeah.
make sure that our business model is solving somebody's problem,
Right.
and you have the best solution for that. So we really need to take time out and do some SWOT analysis and
Yeah.
we'll talk about that in another show on understanding what your strengths and your weaknesses are and being able to identify. And the third area is opportunities, new opportunities. And if you live in the Los Angeles area, there are some major new opportunities appearing around the corner from us, right, Gilbert?
That's true. That
And
is true.
so if you are in the Los Angeles area and you have a business that could provide a product or a service or some sort of solution for the World Cup that's coming to Los Angeles in 2026,
Yeah.
and also
And the Olympics. The
the
Olympics
Olympics
coming
in
in
2028.
2028. Yeah.
If you can do that, and you can definitely utilize this time. I'm gonna do a quick little, and you might want to do it as well. What are going to be the opportunities for the Olympics for
Yeah.
Los Angeles?
Yeah.
And what is the revenue that they're anticipating from the Olympics? And I learned something recently because I work in nonprofits. I have a number of revenue generated. Uh, I have working with a tennis program,
Uh-huh.
and I learned, which I was not aware of, that the LA 20, what was it? LA, when was the Olympics here? LA 8, what was that? Whenever the Olympics was here
I
before.
think the Olympics was sometime in was it 2000 run about there?
Yeah, whenever it was here, that they we still have monies that are
Mm-hmm.
being distributed out to athletic programs based upon the money that was generated um during the previous Olympics that was here. So, and because we don't have that was 2008. So the LA 28 was they generated about $3 billion. So now when we look at Olympics for LA 20 for 28, which is 10 years, they are looking at how much revenue generation. LA 28, they're looking at
I think it's $5.3 billion the budget.
$1 billion.
Yeah,
Right.
5.3 billion.
So
So firms want to start shoring up themselves and shoring up their expertise, their services and products so they can participate.
yeah, so that's some of the things you guys really want to look at. That there's going to be some amazing opportunities for you, and so you want to make sure that you're prepared. You have the FIFA is here in 2026, so you got 2 years to prepare yourself, and then you have another. So you got a good 8 years to get prepared, and a lot can happen in 8 years to make sure that you're prepared for what the kind of monies that's going to be available to you. So
Be-
that's what I wanted to say for
Believe,
opportunities.
believe it or not, man, a lot can happen in a short space of time. And you wanna, as a business owner, you wanna be at the forefront of that because I remember the last time, besides the last Olympic, 2008, besides that, we had the Democratic Convention in 1992, right?
Mm-hmm.
96, I'm sorry,
96.
1996, with Bill Clinton and others.
Right.
And a lot of small business were able to participate in that. Even small businesses who didn't think that they had product or services to offer, they were able to participate, got some money out of the deal. So you want to get your money too. Now, the difference between many small and micro businesses and the mid-size and larger businesses is because those guys are willing to take risk. They're willing to take risks. And in business, you got to take risk. So if you're not taking risks, then you're not trying to get an opportunity. And that's what many of those guys have over many small and medium-sized, many small and micro businesses.
And I have to say this as a business owner and as an entrepreneur, and I've been doing my business for about 15 years, you can't be timid.
Nope.
You can't be timid. You can't sit back on your laurels and think about something for hundreds of years, because opportunities will bypass you so rapidly. So you gotta just do your homework, do your due diligence, but you gotta step out there. You gotta be a little bit more courageous. You have to be innovative. You have to exercise creativity. You cannot do business status quo.
Yeah.
You have to be open to learning and looking at new opportunities and new ways to do things, and always on the horizon on whatever the trends are for the industry that you're in. And if you do your advanced due diligence, you can be on the front side of that and not on the back side of that.
Right.
And so, we're gonna close out the show. But we just want you to know that there are so many opportunities out there. Our challenges don't have to override our success. Our challenges are just that. They're challenges that can be overcome, but you have to put the work in. Get a mentor, get a business coach, sign up at any of the organizations we just mentioned throughout this show today. Get some resources. These people, chambers, and especially GLAC, they're on top of what's going on. These leaders are sitting at the table and they are part of a conversation. So you need to become part of that conversation as well. Don't be on the menu, but be seated at the table where the conversation is being had and you have input. So just want to let you know that you can tune into the Business Zone every week and stay on top of what's going on. You can tune into my other program, the Community Briefing, that broadcasts live on Facebook every Thursday at 11 a.m. We bring those leaders and stakeholders that are here in Los Angeles for sure, and you have accessibility, because your network has to be expansive. Your network cannot be your neighbor and the neighbor on the left and the right and the north and the south. Your neighbor has to be the whole landscape. Okay. Right. So, you have to expand out your you have to expand your network. You have to be able to pick up phones and call people when you need resources. That's how you create solutions to those challenges. And also, that's how you find out in way advance of what opportunities that are out there. And then don't be afraid to jump on them. That's pretty much what I got to say, Gilbert.
The question is, ask yourselves, entrepreneurs, ask yourself this. When was the last time I utilized networking and my access to those networking groups to gain an opportunity, to get a contract, to get some business? Just ask yourself that, because if you don't do that, you won't do it, because you'll be afraid. You're afraid to take chances. You cannot be afraid to take chance as an entrepreneur. It's swim or sink.
Yeah, for sure.
You gotta jump in there, and you either swim or you sink. Even a dog. You throw a dog in a pool, a swimming pool, right?
Yeah.
Who's never swam before. The first thing he's gonna do is start moving those paws and trying to stay above the water, right? Same thing here as an entrepreneur, man. You gotta try to swim. Being thrown in some deep water, you gotta swim, man, and swim with the sharks and survive.
So swim with the shark and survive. That's what entrepreneurship is about. It's a calculated risk.
Yes.
It's being comfortable with the risk, doing your homework, doing your research, making sure that it makes sense, making sure that it's feasible. making sure you look at all angles, but don't be afraid to step out there and make a change.
That's
It
right.
will change how you live. It will make entrepreneurship fun. Actually running your own business. But if you're doing the same old status quo business that you were doing when you first started business, you really need to reevaluate and look at your business model and look around, open up your eyes and jump on in that water and you're not going to sink if you've done your homework. And conquer the challenges. So with that, Gilbert, I think we're going to close out for the day.
Yeah.
And you guys, next week we have a guest that's coming. I believe we have someone that's on board that's coming from Meriwether, which is contracting, insurance, and
Their contractor development program.
okay. So you guys want to come back out next week. You want to tell some friends. And then we may also have Richard Palais next week. We're waiting for confirmation. And then we have another great guest at the end of the month. So please come back, and you can go over to right over here to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. That way you can get notification. Also, you can go over to our Facebook page and our LinkedIn page, my LinkedIn page, and our Facebook and Twitter, and you'll get notification of when our show is going to broadcast. But we're here every Friday afternoon at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Tell a friend and come back and join us next week.
And I also want to say shout out to a friend of mine. I mentioned her earlier. That's where I got my first business line of credit. So her name is Ty Adelabu. Ty Adelabu. I hope you're watching and you're still watching the Business Zone. And if you are not watching, make sure at some point you go to YouTube, click on the Business Zone, and then click that subscribe button. Those of you who are Ninja watchers who are just watching and not subscribing, go ahead and click that subscribe button, folks, so we can notify you when we have our upcoming guests, we have our upcoming materials. And as a matter of fact, this video is live right now on YouTube, so you guys can go to YouTube, you can rewatch it. And my co-host and I, we're going to edit this video also. We're going to edit it, take out some of the unnecessary parts and just leave the meat and potato parts for you guys so you can tap into this. And then, we may put it on our website. You never know.
There you go. I believe this is Fernando, the Black Business Los Angeles online community. He liked that Ninja Watchers. I did too. That's pretty cool. Don't be a Ninja Watcher.
Oh, yeah. They're Ninja Watchers, man. They're watching, but they're not subscribing. You're not letting us know they're there.
I like that, Gilbert. That's pretty sweet. All right, guys. So we're going to see you guys next week. Have a great weekend. And we are back. Hey, it's all good. We're here. Welcome to the Business Zone, Fernando. And but we're gonna check out now, and we'll see you guys back here, the same bat channel, same bat time, 3:00 next Friday afternoon. So please come back and join us, and bring a friend with you.
That's right. And peace out.
All right, guys.
As a small biz pro, so we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, so we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.